Thank you very much for listening to this week's talk on the Sedra of Naso, the second Sedra in the book of Bamidbar. And we have had the incredible experience of receiving the Torah. Last week's Sedra first, then Shavuot, and now this week's Sedra. So the two Sedras have as their filling the experience of Matan Torah. And this, I'm going to interpret the word Naso in its sense of being carried or lifted up. And I think that we need to feel that we are lifted up, having re experienced the gift of the Torah at Har Sinai this past week. And when we look at the contents of the Sedra of Naso, it is the longer Sedra, which we'll come to why later, at 176 Pesukim. But the contents are very many and varied, and it starts with the census of the families of Gershon and Merari, and various jobs that the Levites had to do, and various other details relevant to the Mishkan, and then the laws of the suspected adulteress, and the Nazir, the person who takes upon themselves a vow of abstinence from wine and any kind of wine product. And we have the priestly blessing, the blessing that really, if you like, belonged to the priests, but we are blessed that in various capacities we can not we can use the formula. The parents use this formula to bless their children every Friday night in many families. And then the Sedra, towards the end of the Sedra, we have the gifts that were brought by the princes, by the tribal princes, and this is the reason for the length of the Sedra, because the beautiful gifts, and we can read them out, that were brought by the priests, sorry, by the princes, are as follows. But this exact paragraph is repeated with just varying on the day. So it begins with, on the first, the one who brought his offering on the first day was Nachshon, the son of Amminadab of the tribe of Yehuda. His offering was one silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, one silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels according to the shekel. Both bowls were filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. One spoon weighing 10 gold shekels filled with incense. One outstanding young bull, one ram, and one lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. One young male goat for a sin offering. For a peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Nachshon, the son of Amminadab. Then what we have is the contents of that paragraph essentially repeated 11 more times, with just the changes on the second day, Nasanel, the son of Tsuar, and then the conclusion, this was the offering of Nasanel, the son of Tsuar. But the middle section of that paragraph is essentially identical. So the question is asked famously, why did we not just say that all this is the offering that each of the 12 tribal princes gave on the 12 days of sort of after the inauguration of the Mishkan? And the answer was given that although the subject matter may have been identical, but each of the princes brought it with their own special essence, with their particular talents and their way of doing things. And we've seen in a lot of other situations, you can compare it, for example, to a sheet of music, that the identical notes can be played by different people, and the music that comes out can have very subtle or very significant differences. And really, this was part of the symphony and then part of the credit that was due, that the Torah, which is so economical in its words, and everything is there, and there's never going to be any unnecessary repetition. So that we have to look for a meaning and a message in the fact that there is this apparent repetition. But although we've explained that, and in a way it's consistent with the message of last week's Sedra and the message of Shavuos, that each individual is part of the collective, but they have their particular talents, their particular skills and makeup. That means that they are bringing something new, even as we observe the same format. But what we have in that seems to be a little bit presenting us with a different message. In chapter 7, verse 3, we are told that the princes actually shared the wagons on which their offerings were brought. So just go to 7 verse 3, and that is Vayaviu es korbanom lifnei Hashem sheish eglos sov, and they brought their offering before God 6 covered wagons with 12 oxen, or shneim asar bakar, and Agala al Shnei Hanasiim Vashar Echad. So 6 covered wagons, 12 oxen, 1 wagon for 2 leaders, and an ox for each one. So there was sharing of the wagons that brought these offerings, that the princes. So they did come together in the way the way their offerings were transported. And Rabbi Roberts, in his book The Torah Prism Revisited, writes a very beautiful explanation in terms of the apparent inconsistency that they are singled out individually for essentially bringing the same offerings, yet they managed to pull together, they chose to pull together to bring the offerings on the wagons. There is, however, no inconsistency, and both procedures are correct. Every person has his own specific contribution to make in the world of Torah. They're all different. There are Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Hasidim, Misnagdim, besides the manifold groups, the students of Torah, its fundraisers, communal workers, Tehillim readers. The list is endless, with each one doing their own thing. Nevertheless, these individuals must also be prepared to join forces and work for the common good. In the ideal Torah community, there must be an interrelationship between diversity and unity. Hence, each leader brought his own exclusive sacrifice, but in order to transport the whole Mishkan, they combined in one united effort for the collective benefit of Klal Yisrael. And this was actually printed or presented in 2015. And as I read those words, with its mention of diversity and unity, I think, as with everything of the Torah, that it is above time. These words that are being so commonly used today were used to highlight this point, that the community leaders join together for the collective benefit of the people. And I think that this is something that we are that is very necessary always, and especially at the moment. And I think the Torah is always instructing us, always telling us in the most up-to-date way of how to behave. And this was a very beautiful message from the point in this Sedra, that the repetition of the offerings 12 times, practically an identical paragraph each time, yet the wagons that the offerings were transported on, these were pulled together and a collective effort from the princes. But just going back to the word Naso, and the uplift that we get from the experience of receiving the Torah, and the fact that we are really redoubling our efforts. We are still in a time of national crisis, and we are still davening so fervently for the release of all of the hostages and the safety and security of all of the soldiers in the IDF. And the words of having to come together as a community, yes, made up of individuals, resonate and are so powerful now. And the Naso is another one of the untranslatable words. And I've mentioned before that that there are very many stickers uh, wherever you go in Israel, in all sorts of public places, bus stops, lampposts, train stations, really everywhere. And these stickers are very often pictures with a special saying, pictures of uh, the the people who have given their lives over this past 19 months now, and many chayalim, many soldiers. And as I was in the train station, I saw this particular one, which I'm going to show you. It's not that easy to see, but the sticker is Mi sheyesh lo lama yachol laset kol ech. For he who has uh, the why, Yachol laset, and this word laset is the same root as naso. It means can bear, kol ech, anyhow. He will find the way to carry out his mission, and this is attributed to a Sergeant Yogev Pazi, who gave his life in battle on the 17th of October, on the 17th of November, 2024. Zichrono Livracha. And as I looked at that sticker, I thought, here we have a modern application, a hero of today, who is telling us that when we have a reason, when we have a purpose, we will be able to find the way to achieve that purpose. And really, this hero, Yogev Pazi, and those like him have certainly found the way, Lasset, to carry Naso, to carry all of us, to show us how Mesirot Nefesh, this dedication to the community, and and this is something that we are really able to appreciate and to take the lessons from the Sedra of Naso, and take the lessons from this idea of when we have a why, when we unite, like the princess showed us how to unite, then we will find the way. And just also another use of another context of the word laset, naso, is when we say the pasuk in Tehillim, Hoshia et amecha, save your people, uvarach et nachalosecha, and bless your inheritance, urem v'nasem ad ha'olam, shepherd them and lift them forever. And really, this is a beautiful posuk in Tehillim that's very often used when we are counting people. We mentioned last week that as humans, we do not want to count with numbers. We often say not one, not two, and this posuk is used. But the meaning of this posuk, that we are calling out to Hashem to save us, that He should lift us up, He should carry us, and I think that when we look at all the themes of that come out from this week's Sedra, we are able to feel that embrace, feel that lift after Matan Torah, after processing it and making it real, making it part of our daily improvement as human beings in our service of Hashem. And in so doing, please God, we should really merit to see the salvation of Hashem, of the people of Israel, and all of the things that we are davening for should be come